Don't touch that keyboard. We're down under tonight as RaceSpotTV presents the iAnalyze Racing.com V8 SuperTruck Series. Join us at the Phillip Island circuit next on iRacing Live after these short messages. Live from just off the coast of Melbourne, Australia, RaceSpotTV proudly brings you round 3 coverage for the Socks Out Racing iAnalyze Racing.com V8 SuperTruck Series. Hello sim racing fans and welcome to the Phillip Island circuit. My name is Cisco Scaramuzza. Alongside with me is Jake Sperry and as always, Paul Smith is down in the production truck pushing the buttons and getting the picture you see to you. Well, Jake, we're in for a treat as Phillip Island is probably one of the most picturesque circuits in the entire world and one of the more gentle circuits for this NASCAR Camping World Truck Series discipline. What are you looking to see out of these guys tonight?
This is going to be a difficult one, actually, for these guys, in my opinion. You look at this circuit, it's one of the highest average top speed circuits around the world. So in terms of the way that the hairpins work, they're not very tight. They're long and looping. You look at how their corners work, they're very much, you know, you can carry as much speed as possible around this circuit. What I'm looking to see is a driver who can really utilize the mid-engine speed of this car and also really get this camping truck right in and turned around in some of these very difficult corners, especially MG down the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely these guys don't have to worry about too many technical corners. Obviously, you have the really sharp hairpin over by Honda, I believe. That's probably going to be the toughest corner. It's a short right-hander. You have to get hard on the brakes, but you do have a lot of time to be able to brake for that corner. You just have to make sure you hit your braking zone. But we'll take a look at the point standings right now. Coming into tonight, last round, Victor Lobato Lopez was able to get the victory from the Texas Roval. So as the driver championship stands right now, Bobby Zalenski came home second in that race. He's currently on top of the championship standings. Ryan Castelline right behind him, with Justin Kruthoff in third.
Yeah, he is here. And Bobby Zalenski, though, is running into a few issues, I do believe, in terms of how everything is going to be working, in terms of where he needs to be. You know, it's going to be a difficult one for Bobby Zalenski today. I mean, he's on a fantastic rich vein of form, as we saw in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series, Cisco, but whether he can translate that into road racing, well, that's going to be another task to be seen. I do like how the racing has been here, but a very small grid will mean that there are a lot of points available for some drivers who have been struggling throughout the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look at the team standings right now, but, I mean, we talk about momentum. Bobby Zalenski coming off his first ever win in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. I don't care if whatever series you're coming from, to go into a race, any race with a momentum coming off a win, that's got to be huge for Zalenski here, and definitely, you know, keep it in the back pocket. You know, you're coming in this weekend, you're like, hey, I just won one of the biggest races of my life just last week. Definitely a good attitude to bring to Phillip Island today, and for what should be interesting considering he's a man alone tonight.
Yeah, he is a man alone, and he has to be careful about who his rivals are and where he's placing that car. He's got to worry about the likes of, say, a Castellano or a Kruthoff or a Gruber, say, that's going to be there, or a Borja Vieiro. You know, the issues come in also with the Team's Championship, and actually, there have been some fantastic championships that we've seen. Of course, Road versus Oval is the big key one here at Cisco, because you think about this machine. The difference is the road guys know how to do the circuit, the Oval guys know how to set up the car, and then with the difference being 5 points only in that championship, that is sensational.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And if you want to talk about an even closer margin, we'll take a look at the manufacturer point standings right now. Toyota has 3 points right now over Chevrolet. Very tight for that group, which is odd to see because you look at some of the other Oval Series we'll see, generally there's usually a kind of dominance towards more Chevrolets. I don't know, it just seems to be more popular, but in this series, it's a very good balance right now, and several drivers out on track today. We are missing one notable, Matt Busen, not in the field tonight. He's not able to make the race, so that's going to be 1 point down for Toyota here. So Chevrolet, the drivers of the Chevrolets are going to be able to take a little bit of advantage here. And also you have to remember, you look at the point standings, Peak Team fell from 1st to 4th over 1 round. They're going to lose more points because Busen isn't here.
Yeah, they are here, and what you also have to remember is there's 7 Chevy teams to 4 Toyota teams. That's another big talking point, is that Toyota have a 3-point advantage here, Cisco, with 3 less teams than everyone else. That's 6 more drivers that can throw Chevys into it, and that's amazing to see that, you know, that Toyota are managing to get themselves ahead in that sort of standings right now. I mean, we do have qualifying going on as well at the same time as this one, and we've got many drivers here doing well, but look at Victor Lobato here. He's 6/10 clear of anybody else right now, with Borja Vieiro in second.
And he's, remember, coming off the win that he had at the Texas Roval here, so Lobato looks to be in a very good position here. He's going to be starting out front as the standings sit right now. Bobby Zalenski still has yet to take time, as does Van Kamertz, who we were following. I believe we are still following him as he's looking to complete his lap here. And the 66, he's sitting decently in the point standings right now. He's sitting 7th. There he is. I had to find him for a moment. But kind of decently in the points. But if he has a good lap here, you know, he might be able to claw some points back, you know, this week. This is one of those tracks, you know, it's definitely more of kind of a gentle circuit. Like you mentioned, a lot of mid-corner speed. Definitely very different to what we saw just 1 month ago over at Texas.
Yeah, it is. Texas Motor Speedway is a completely different circuit. It's a road oval. Compared to this has so many different pitfalls and challenges. I mean, I'm looking at Borja Vieiro right now trying to get onto pit road. Pit road is the biggest challenge on this circuit. You've got to actually get yourself down onto a very, very narrow one-track lane at God knows how much speed here, and hope that you keep the car on the island with a truck that isn't the most responsive machine in the world, Cisco. So there are a lot of pitfalls around this circuit. You talk about Siberia being a big issue. You talk about Honda Corner being an issue. You talk about the Southern Loop being an issue. You even talk about that first corner being a major issue around here. Every corner has its own little issues here, Cisco, and every driver knows that every corner is going to be an issue here as we look at Bobby Zalenski.
Yeah, Zalenski, we're going to follow him along right here, so let's hop on board the 83. Oh. So, wow, so that means he didn't put a time down. He got knocked out of both laps. So that meant that, for those of you unfamiliar, that means he fell off the track both qualifying laps, so he's not going to be able to post a time here. That's huge.
It certainly is here, and it means that he can't go and get everything that he wants to do. Mika Eshouse exactly the same. Eshouse there at the back as well, and we know how quick Mika Eshouse can be. We know how quick Bobby Zalenski can be. 2 hard chargers towards the back of the field. That is going to be a nightmare for everybody involved as they look to try and push their way throughout this field right now. This is fantastic.
Well, it's fantastic for us. I'm not sure Bobby Zalenski would feel the same way, considering he's going to have to start from the tail end of the field. And on, you know, an Australia track, which, I mean, we have to look at the ones that are in the service. All of them are narrow. It's not quite Oran Park bad for these guys, but this is definitely not the widest circuit in the world.
Well, Oran Park now is probably the most narrow circuit in the world, being the fact that it's a housing development. But let's brush that one aside here. This is an incredibly difficult circuit. It's incredibly narrow, and you're 2 wide, at best 3 wide at this circuit, where you can't really do it anywhere else. The other circuits being Oran Park, and the other circuit apart from that is Mount Panorama. Look at that, 2 wheels, Jörg Gruber, as we look to end qualifying.
Yeah, they're just throwing the trucks around right now, and of course, one of the things you got to be careful of, if you can handle that truck on the ragged edge, you're probably going to be just fine for this race. But as qualifying nears to a close here, we're going to take a look at your starting grid. Victor Lobato was able to get the pole time there. He's going to start on point. Borja Valero is going to start second. Sven Kamers is going to start third. Fourth is going to go to Martin Capal. Daniel Thompson will round out the top 5. Jose Ibiza is going to roll off 6th. 7th is going to go to Justin Kruthoff. David Baraclough is going to start 8th. 9th is going to go to George Gruber. And 10th is going to go to James King.
11th position, and as things stand, is Clifton Cockrell. Jake Robson then will start surprisingly down the order in 12th. Bram Reniers there in 13th, and then all the cars that actually failed to set a time. A 19-car grid: Mika Eshouse, Carl Janssen, Bobby Zelensky, Sergio Real, Josh Mertz, and also John Medeiros as well.
So, and one thing to note, that Bobby Zelensky is serving a penalty, actually. That is why none of his laps counted. He actually X'd those laps out because due to his contact that he made in round number 2, he's actually being put to the back of the grid here. So just something to note, Bobby Zelensky will be starting all the way from the back of the grid.
And that's a nightmare for him because he knew that he was having to make positions forward, and that's where the contact happened. So he's stuck in catch-22. He's got a penalty at the back, and he's got to do it all over again here, Cisco. That must be a nightmare for him to try and get around.
It must be a nightmare, but let's talk. We could talk a little bit more about this Phillip Island circuit, built in around kind of the late 50s, early 60s here. This is kind of the premier road course. If you don't count Mount Panorama, this used to be the home of the longer-term V8 supercar long-term event until Bathurst took it over. But this track, Grand Prix track, an excellent track to be added to the service. It's been on the service here for a little while now, but definitely one of the most picturesque as we see kind of. You know, it's an island. We see all the water around it. Very kind of tropical location almost.
It certainly is. And you talk about some areas of the circuit out to Siberia, you're no more than, say, 200 feet away from the edge of a cliff face. That's how close to the wildlife this circuit really is. You also look at this circuit in terms of what it's done for iRacing. iRacing.com Grand Prix World Championship Series used to be run at this circuit, and it's kind of a shame that it's not run here anymore. It's a beautiful track to really run yourself around and really get top speeds in, and in any vehicle. I mean, I've seen this work from Lotus 49 all the way up to Formula 1. Every time you come here in any vehicle, it is amazing racing.
It absolutely is, and we'll kind of walk you through kind of a run with the track as they go under pace here. Two-hand corner, this is turn number 1 right here, and after that, we're going to head to the Southern Loop where you'll see kind of the little bit of a gazebo type thing on the infield there. This is going to be corner number 2, and kind of this is the first of those long hairpin sweepers that we talk about, Jake. Very characteristic of this circuit. There's tons of these sweeping corners through this whole thing.
There certainly is, and I believe the gazebo thing you're trying to look out for is a Marshall post there, Cisco. So, in terms
of
it's
a gazebo in Summit Point. That's what I'm referring. That's what I'm familiar with, and then you have the one in Virginia. So
that's fair.
Stuff in the middle.
That certainly is, and well, you know, there's a lot of sweeping corners. It's about momentum and how much you can carry here. You're heading through Stoner Corner, named after Casey Stoner, and now you're on board with Vito Lobato as well. Here as you head into the right-hander here of Honda Corner right now. You see down on the brakes, there's gravel on the right-hand side, and you can see there's a straight-on patch there. That's pretty much your get-out-of-jail-free card there, Cisco, if you do run wide.
Yeah, it is, and you kind of have that access road there where if you get it way wrong, you can also hit that as well. Then we come up to Siberia, which you mentioned here. This is kind of the second. It's bigger than what you see in Honda, but it's still kind of a tight hairpin. You come up to turn 7 here, and then Hayshed, kind of the right-hand kink here, and this is where you got to start picking up speed, but you can't be too careful because turn 7 and Hayshed, you could just go straight off into that gravel you see in front of you.
You certainly do, and now you head into this section of circuit here, very quick, and then you head yourself up Lukey Heights, down Lukey Heights. 23 laps of this event, 1 pit stop mandatory required, so it's going to be all about how you manage and mix manage everything that goes on here. Lobato then will have control, and then down the hill towards this corner, MG Cisco. This is the prime overtaking place.
Yeah, hard on the brakes here, right-hand turn. But we do want to remind you, of course, that This broadcast is brought to you by iAnalyze They are the official data analysis software of V8 SuperTrucks and the premier iRacing aftermarket add-on. Tightly integrated with iRacing, iAnalyze Racing provides a comprehensive set of voice commands and all sorts of stuff. You can get your subscription today at iAnalyzeRacing.com. But we saw the Ford Mustang pace car head off. Now these guys wait, and they wait a little bit more. Here they come onto the front stretch. 23 laps from Phillip Island, and we're underway right now. Green flag is in the air, and they are on the loud pedal. We are live from Phillip Island Circuit.
Oh, this is a fantastic start. You can see they're too wide here as they're trying to go through. You can see already the jumps happening then side by side into turn number 1 out of the Garden Straight. Car already off there. That is Martin Capal, who will take a trip grass side then and will try and hold that vehicle. You can see just trying to wrestle and wrangle that one back into position. Finally does and gets himself back on the circuit there at the Southern Loop. But that is not what's wanted. More drama though behind. Another car off with the Belgian flag. That's Bram Reniers running into issues.
Yeah, and problems for both of those guys, off-track excursions, but everyone else, for the most part, going to go single file. We're going to see a little bit of a dive bomb move, though. It's going to be George Gruber. Oh, he's going to go sideways. Oh, these trucks are catching air already. It's all gone wrong. They go 3 wide, 4 wide almost, and holy cow, they hold on to it, and there goes Gruber off into the dirt. I've never seen anything before like that in my life.
No, you don't. You can see that he's struggling with a bit of issues, and that might come into play in terms of the hard charger award if he is to try and get his way back through the field. Kruthoff now also struggling here in the early stages. He's dropping down a number of positions right now. Another car off there, and I believe that is, in terms of that one, Josh Mertz running into issues, and now Bobby Zelensky now trying to make the charge here, moving through the field, and now you see
there goes the 93.
Yeah, that's Real there running into issues, hitting Robson.
The problem is these guys are too bunched up. They can't get through these tight turns as close as they are. That was contact with Real, and he got a little bit of a piece of it, able to hold on to it. He actually benefited despite the fact he was the one who got tagged. Well, you look how much of a gap there is all the way kind of from, well, what was 16th. We'll have to let the scoring catch up here in a minute here. That was 7th. Look at the gap from 7th to the lead. It's huge.
It's 10 seconds in the opening lap, and you think 10 seconds isn't much. Here, 10 seconds is an eternity here. And now with 23, well, however many laps it's going to be, that's going to be a huge issue. Kruthoff and Capal side by side in towards the Southern Loop. You can't do it on the outside. You're understeer and understeer and understeer, and there's a little bit of a nose down to the inside for Mertz here on Capal. And Mertz now trying to get himself down the inside. We'll have the outside now here, Cisco, as they're looking to go side by side, even ahead of that. Barclough and Robson, 2 teammates in real life, but here a little bit different side by side.
Yeah, they're going to go side by side, and it looks like the 44... Oh, 28's around now. More problems. That's Mertz. I wasn't sure if he got tagged. It looks like he might have done, but he's going to have to get on the throttle, spin that thing around back going here. But these guys are going side by side, and it just looks like the trucks are a little too big for the circuit almost.
Yeah, did you see Zelensky though through there? He took 3 positions in that corner just by sending one down the inside. He is on an absolute rampage here as he looks to try and chase down Capal now through Lukey Heights. So Bobby Zelensky is absolutely storming here, has a chance to send one down the inside, won't do it down into MG. A very difficult corner to make it work, but he is slicing his way through the traffic and needs a little bit of fortune.
Are we really surprised though? It's Bobby Zelensky. I mean, this is what I expect out of him. We saw him be very aggressive at Texas. It didn't work out for him there, obviously, but we mentioned at the beginning of this thing, he needs to drive, and he needs to drive hard to make up those positions, and that is exactly what he's doing right now. And it looks like problems with Barkov. No, he just lost that position to Gruber. That's going to be a battle right here. 3 Torque Freak cars right next to each other.
Yeah, and Mika Eshouse as well running into issues. Lets the driver James King go through then in terms of turn number 1. So you can see all these cars then close together. You talk about the front of the field though. A gap of a second for Victor Lobato, but he doesn't actually have to do too much about it here because he's just managing and controlling the pace here. You've got drivers like Joshan Ibiza, like Daniel Thompson, like Svein Kamets here, who are all there just trying to run it. But they have those gaps then. They have that pack racing of 0.6 of a second each. And you can see here Zelensky really trying to make some moves here. Through on Capal, through on Kruthoff. Now trying to get past here. The driver of Robson looks to the inside. Won't be able to get one here, Cisco. But he'll get a great run out to the exit here as they head towards Lukey Heights.
If there's one thing I've learned about Zelensky in this series, he has mastered the art of going from first gear and just slamming it into gear and making that truck stick. He did a very good job of it at Texas, once again showing kind of through these slower sections of the track. He's able to put the power down unlike anyone else in this field that I've seen. But side by side, Zelensky's going to go to the outside of the 44 Robson. Robson's going to float up, pitch Zelensky. He's going to go onto the zebras there. He's going to have to let that position go. He'll have to try again here in the long sweeper.
Yeah, he will here, and he needs to get a good run out of this final corner. You can see they have to lift off ever so slightly, maybe just 10 kilometers an hour, and Zelensky now gets right back on it, then gets a stunning run out of the final corner. Side by side, they're going to go, and there's Torque Freak ahead, though. Barclough and Gruber now will be trying to work together to get themselves through, but Zelensky on the outside, he'll say, thank you very much, I'll take that position, and now it's one more fuel to the fire as things stand right now, but still, though, some great action throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. Zelensky up a few places, truck off on the circuits. The 23, the Team Bushfink Racing truck of James King. That's going to get a little bit close right there for Torque Freak. That's going to allow Zelensky to catch right up to those two teammate trucks. And Zelensky says, instead of shooting the gap 3 wide, I'm just going to wait for you guys to single out. Thank you very much. He's going to try it on the outside. The 555 is going to lock him up. Zelensky can throw it in gear, try and go somewhere. Isn't able to do it.
Look at that fishtail slide there that we just saw from Zelensky. He is really trying to wring the neck. And you can see a little bit of contact as well with Gruber, George Gruber coming out of the corner. So Zelensky really now starting to wring the neck, starting to try and make something happen here. And, well, now you're looking at everything that's going on. There's another good battle going on here, Cisco. Ibiza versus Thompson for 4th.
Yeah, that's a great battle right here. And Ibiza trying to close up the gap he can, but we do have to note JAM Racing is doing amazingly right now. They have 4 drivers in the top 10. This is what they need to do as a team. They're one of the bigger teams in this series. They need to get as many points as possible after what was in all sorts of it was definitely a wacky race at Texas for sure for this team. I mean, they got the win with Lobato. Oh, looks like problems struck around.
Yeah, we do. We have a truck around here, and that's not what was wanted here. And I believe it was John Medeiros then that was running into issues. The replay is on screen. That's coming out of MG, and he has looped it around on his own. Gets himself into the corner. Too eager on the power there, Cisco. And there's so much torque, it is available to do that at very, very frequent opportunity.
Oh, but Zelensky's not done yet either. He's going to try and go for Barclough now. He's going to jump to the inside here, so that 83 continuing to move up the grid. He's able to get it done before even they get to Honda. So Zelensky done a great job there, hard on the brakes now, and he is making up places. Shunt there from Barclough.
Up there from Barclough, and just behind that you can see Gruber now under threat from James King. King trying to get it now. Bushfink versus Torque Freak around the outside. It's difficult to make that happen for the moment. No, gonna try and hold it on the outside line, but it's just pushed and hung out to dry like yesterday's washing, and can't do anything about that one then, and that will have to stay line astern.
And now you look at Krutov, who's caught up to these guys. He was a little bit further back, but part of that team that's currently leading the team standing, the 64, gonna get shooken out there, kind of psych out right there by the Torque Freak driver of Jake Robson there. He's able to hold on to it. Meanwhile, Krutov still trying to press. He has nowhere to go, though. Goes wide there, so he's going to lose a little bit of time. Meanwhile, King is trying to close in on Gruber in front of him. The 123 trying to pull away. He just can't. King is right there.
King is right there. I want to talk about Victor Lobato, though, because he's pulled out a 2-second gap as things stands over Vieira. He is running at a pace that nobody else really has a match for. King trying to get that move down the inside on Gruber. He'll look to the inside into turn number 1. Difficult to do in these machines, and again, he backs out of it. He decides it's a better opportunity to sit and wait and maybe make it happen at 4. Into 2 of the southern loop, and you can see you're holding, you're waiting a little bit more, Cisco. And you can see he's all over that curb trying to make something happen, and you can see he has to back out of it because there were 2 tires on the grass there, and that's the last thing you want in one of these camping trucks.
Yeah, I think King was trying to go through the grass, passing the grass Kyle Petty style. It doesn't work, however, on a road course like this, and King had to back out of it. So creative thinking from the 23 just isn't quite going to work on this circuit, but look at how much time he gained through Honda here and into Siberia now. King, he just has a better run out of the corner, I think, and especially kind of rolling the center, does a very good job, but it looks like Gruber's going to pull away.
Yes, he is. Looking at Bobby Zelensky, though, he's caught Clifton Cockrell for position number 9 on circuit. Down the inside of Lukey Heist. Thank you very much. Scares the man out of the way. A little bit of yellow helmet syndrome there from the driver of Clifton Cockrell. Didn't want to touch Bobby Zelensky at all. And, well, from James King earlier on, maybe taking the peasant's way for the King.
He could be trying to do that right now. But it looks like Zelensky, wow, what a gap he got on Cockrell there. And right now, Battle Royale and Janssen currently going at it right now. And Carl Jansen, he's going to try and get him into one here. Royale was able to complete that pass. But talk about Jim just putting a stranglehold on this field. 5th, 6th, and then, of course, you look up front, 2nd and 1st.
Exactly, that's what they need to do here. They just need to continually put the mileage in, make sure that they hold as many positions as possible. King still trying to get around Gruber through turn number 1, inside turns for 2, and he will take the position then, the one that he needed to get them behind that. Robson then, under a little bit of pressure, will lose the position to Kapal, trying to get himself back through the field. So already we're seeing there, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, that we have some very tight battles then in terms of the top 10. And to note something else here, in terms of the drivers from 6th through 10th here, Cisco, they are all from outside the top 10.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I mean, these guys have been able, we saw those issues at the beginning, but Real, Jansen, S-House, and Zelensky, they all did not take queue times there. All those qualifying times are blank, so that's how far they've flown up the grid. But we have a second right now, so we're going to take a moment. If you're curious, we're giving out a hard charger award, so send that out to the driver. That is given to the first non-podium, or not the first non-podium driver, but your pick for the non-podium driver who put on the best show. And we've already seen some excellent racing as we're seeing right now. Zelensky, yeah, that was really close.
Second time in a lap they've come together, and S-House is struggling. You can see huge slide coming out of the second to last corner. Zelensky sends one down the inside, and S-House looks like he might have a bit of damage there. He holds on to it again and has a huge wiggle. I think that's day done as he heads himself into the grass, and he's still trying to save it, but he loses it. What a shame for S-House.
And there's the caution finally, but wow, I think if we could get S-House some sort of participation award and maybe like a Tanner Faust Formula Drift award, I mean, talk about, he tried. I mean, we'll just shut up and let you watch this because this is fantastic. Okay, there it is. So, Jake, we'll take a moment now to catch our breath because we know now that we're under caution, once these guys get the green flag, we know what's coming. So we'll catch our breath here. So let's try and recap what's been going on in the field. So Bobby Zelensky, if you've been keeping up, he's been charging through the field. He's 8th now. Meanwhile, JM has basically had a stranglehold on the field. They hold 1st, 2nd, and then of course you got them in 5th and 6th. And kind of that front field, you know how they broke away, Jake? Yeah, no, that all just went out the window now.
It certainly has. Well, I think we need a medal for Mika S-House to say, at least you tried, mate. At least you tried. But, you know, the field gets bunched up. That's something that plays into the minds of drivers. Maybe even now, I think maybe 1 or 2 drivers should be thinking about maybe coming down onto the lane here if it's open. Because if they do come down now, it's a free pit stop. They go to the back of the field, but they get their one and only pit stop out of the way. Whether they're in the window, I don't quite think they are. It's 23 laps, it's lap 8, 15 lap stint. I don't think it's going to be a potential here, Cisco, for it to work.
So at that point, I'm thinking if you're 10th or back, you may as well come down, get tires. I mean, these tires are already going to be screaming here. It's not a bad idea, but while we are under caution here, we're going to take a moment, step aside for a moment here on RaceSpotTV and go catch our breath. You're watching the iAnalyze Racing V8 SuperTrucks series right here on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. Back in a sec.
Fuel usage.
Averaging 0.10 gallons per lap.
Pit stop, add 5 gallons. Change right side only.
Hitbox in 10, 9, 8, 1. Bingo. 10-4, adding 5 gallons. Changing right side tires.
Welcome back to the iAnalyze Racing V8 SuperTrucks series. And pit stop's gonna happen. And guess what? We thought it was gonna be 10th on back. No, Jake, it's everybody.
All in for however many dollars that it is that they all come in and make their stops. So now is the chance to make or break yourself. So 8 laps in, they've decided they've had enough of the tires, get some new ones. If they can make it on 15, that's a very bold decision from all of them. If another caution comes out during this period, though, Cisco, it means that they have the opportunity to come in and get more tires again. This is scintillating stuff, and if any drivers can gain or lose here, it's all down to the crews.
Absolutely. Cisco Scaramuza, Jake Sperry, Paul Smith along with you here for this presentation of the iAnalyze Racing.com V8 SuperTruck series. And now that we have them all, I'm going to take a moment to shove this plug out the proper way. iAnalyze Racing, they are the sponsor of this series, and they are the official data analysis software of the V8 SuperTruck series, and they are the premier iRacing aftermarket add-on. You saw them during that break. Tightly integrated with iRacing, iAnalyze Racing provides a comprehensive set of voice commands and data analysis to aid drivers in improving their on-track performance. Get your subscription today at iAnalyzeRacing.com, and we do want to remind you that they're also giving out a 1-month subscription to the hard charger of the race. That award will be given to the non-podium finisher who puts on the best show, voted by you guys. So go tweet at SocksOutRacing to cast your vote for who your choice for the hard charger is this week. But pit stops completed now, not too much to take note. But JM Racing, we have to look. You can see their trucks, the yellow, white, black. A lot of them up front right now. You got first. Ben Kamertz occupies that second spot. He was able to get that on pit road, but Bora Valero is going to be in third. And then you got JM Trucks in 5th and 6th for Sergio Real and Jose Ibiza.
Yeah, and actually I've just seen Justin Kruthoff here, Cisco, only just now getting off the lane. So he's going to have a massive charge here to get back to this pack, although that they're running around very similar times. The issue that is being there is that he's actually got to get himself straight back onto the rear of this pack, and he's got half a lap to chase, which does have the potential for him to really run into issues when all is said and done. And by my looks of things, there are no lights on the safety car.
No, there are not. But the good thing for him is if there's any calamities, there's no way he's going to be involved in any of it because he's so far back. So maybe a little bit of strategy for that. And I think they were taking the sledgehammer to that truck, making sure they got all the dents out of it. But we're going to wait and see. The base car going to jump in this time. Lobato is going to have control of the field. We wait for that green flag just a little bit longer as they come through this final turn here. It's a long caution period as the pace car leaves the field. Lobato controls the pace here, waiting to see when they get the green flag. It should be right under the bridge right here. Green flag back in the air.
And you can see already here, Kamert's under a lot of pressure. A great run from Borja Villero. Villero now down to the inside, the Iberia driver trying to make the move happen. Can he make it happen? Yes, he can't, though, because look at this. Here comes Kamert's on the outside, holds onto it for the inside. Cardo gets onto the grass, and that's a very scary one for Daniel Thompson. He'll now go deep into the corner, and more touches there. Zelensky gets away with one as they come together all around him.
That's not going to work. Oh, man, right in front of the track there. Caution back out, and that was Jose Ibiza. He got punted, I believe, by the Blackadder truck and was not able to hold on to it. Got a second hit, went up the banking. You see that kind of curve to the left side of the track. We'll see the replay. But once he came off of that, rolled right back on the track, and big damage for the 223.
Yeah, now you see S-House also involved in damage. So S-House and Ibiza looking like two hipsters vaping around the circuit here. Not what they wanted here. The damage there is going to be very, very heavy. A long repair for them. Just looking at fast repairs, there are none. So that's going to mean that it's a very long wait and their race is effectively over.
Yeah, that is not good news at all for S-House, who did so well just one season ago. And yet this season, it just hasn't been what he's wanted. Like I said, he did so well the first season of this series. This season, though, I mean, you know, for a guy who has lap records at several of the tracks here, just hasn't been able to get the finishes he's been looking for. And sadly, another nightmare of a night here at Phillip Island for that driver.
Well, maybe tonight is just not his day here, Cisco. And, well, sometimes with certain drivers, you put them on the big stage and they crumble under the lights. Maybe S-House is struggling with the added pressure of being on broadcasted television, you could argue here. So S-House, a driver who just needs to cool it down a little bit. Maybe a little bit unfortunate with the way that Ibiza came back on circuit. It all branched out around him and he had nowhere to go. So S-House needs a little bit of lady luck to get back on his side.
And the good thing is he has plenty of tracks to come up to do that, but with only a 9-race season here, it's really hurt him to struggle this much in the season. As it stands right now, honestly, he's probably not going to have much of a shot left at the championship after this race, sadly. So for him, he's just going to have to dig, and I'm assuming out of the next couple races, he's just going to go out there and try and win.
Yeah, he has to. He's got no other alternative here. He's pretty much at this situation after what's gone on. He's all in or bust right now, and that's going to be the key. When you look at the racing that's going to be going on later on in terms of the season, you are going to see drivers who are going to have maybe a better pace, but are out of the championship fight, and that might come into play later on.
And just words, Sven Kamert's not sure when, but he's going to have to take a drive-through penalty on pit road. He was speeding on pit lane. The officials looked at the camera, said he was speeding. So that's a drive-through penalty for the 66, which hurts because, well, take a look at him. He's second.
Yeah, and for Sven Kamertz, you know, your second position, you come down onto the lane and you're trying to make something happen. That is the last thing you do. You practice your pit road time and time and time again. It's arguably the easiest part of the race, but sometimes it's the most difficult part and the most underutilized part of the race, and he's fallen foul of those camera guys behind the line, and pretty much the speed gun's got him, so you're booked there, son.
Yeah, and probably, I'm wondering if we saw him grab that second place. Maybe he got a little bit of speeding off the pit road. That's when the gun got him there. But either way, he's going to have to come down, surrender that second place position. We're looking to see, will he hit pit road this time? And I believe everyone is going to. Nope. Here comes Kamertz. He has to come through anyway. Everyone else, though, going to stay out. But like you said, Jake, we should be good to go on fuel from here. Jensen, though, also coming down. He's going to be the only other truck mate, and also is Mertz and Rayners there, so maybe a little bit of damage repair for those guys as well.
I think Victor Lobato will be feeling like an absolute god right now here, Cisco. He thinks in this situation that he's just thrown the dummy on Kamertz there, gone, you know what, I'm going to come and get, oh, no, I'm going to stay out. And he thinks that Kamertz has gone straight on and has been a little bit lazy with his reactions. The difference is, Lobato might be smiling right now, but for Sven Kamertz, you know, he had to come in, he was speeding on the lane, he had to be careful. It was probably coming out of pit road as well, which has just been done. So that is going to be something that is a little bit worrying here, especially around this circuit where it might take a while to go through. I'll tell you a driver who has got off lucky though, Justin Kruthoff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's been able to miss a lot of these incidents there, and you know, he was able, with that caution, we saw him have to catch up to the field though, so he's in a position, he's with the field now, so he doesn't have to worry about it. So a little bit further down the grid than I think he would like right now, but decent positioning for that off-camber motorsports driver. But if we want to talk teams, 1, 2, 3 right now. Everybody likes a bit of Jim, I believe, is what Paul Smith says. And I believe Jim is pretty happy right now.
Yeah, Jim's happy, and, you know, why wouldn't Jim be happy with a 1, 2, 3? Real, Vieiro, Labasso, all there, all doing very well, but they do have a worrying factor there. Real's gone up from 17th on the grid to 3rd. Bobby Zelensky 16th to 5th and started from pit road. So you look at those those drivers who've made gains here. Real's been on a charge. Zelensky's been on a charge. It's not over, and we're only about halfway just over here. We've got 10 laps to go when they next cross the line, and the pace car lights are off.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I think it was a VLN race, so you can go check the replays on that. But I do remember you saying that, so I'm holding you to it. Either way, Bobby Zelensky, like you said, he's 5th here. Talk about, I think he's the X factor here, Jake, because he's coming through. He's been barreling through this field right now already, plus, well, actually, we have to count the fact he started from the tail end of the field, so he's actually up 14 spots right now. So Bobby Zelensky has been running a train through this whole field, and he doesn't want it to stop anytime soon.
All aboard the Zelensky train. We talked about the form that he had winning that NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series race. I think it's something like 0.0001% of drivers ever get the chance to win one of the big series, and he is one of those drivers who can do it.
Absolutely, but JM, they're 1, 2, 3 right now. That team sitting very, very safely at the top of the standings, but we'll just have to see, will anyone be able to break the stranglehold of those top 3? Yeah, I think we're going to see some good racing to try and get those guys out of the top positions. Pace car in, green flag is back in the air, and we're back racing from Phillip Island.
1, 2, and 3 down the straight, and they're not going to challenge each other. They don't have to here. This is the Chevrolet sort of effect you see in World Touring cars, and already we're seeing here a car off there in the background. That's David Barclough running into issues. Ibiza comes out of pit road. He has recovered the damage then, but will be 2 laps down when all is said and done. Car running wide then, and that's your race leader in Lobato, but you're going to see Vallero doesn't want to make that move yet. Zelensky needs to get past Thompson. Thompson gets a great run. There is damage to the rear of the driver, Sergio Real, and you can see there goes one. Zelensky trying to make it thread the needle. No, he's going to back out of it.
But Real's going to have the preferred line as they head into Honda here. Will he be able to do anything with it? The 14 swings very wide right there, so he's still going to be side by side. Now he'll have the preferred line into Siberia here, the 93, side by side continuing, and Zelensky's like, hey, I want to get going, please. They're able to. Are they both going to clear Real right here out of Siberia? Yes, they are.
They are. That's a fantastic move from Zelensky, and you know what? He's not done here. Real under pressure here from Joe Gruber. Remember, I believe he didn't actually come down onto the lane, so that is something playing into the minds there. As you can see, Zelensky now gets the move to the inside. Battle for P3. Danny inside at MG. He's going to have to do it the long way round now, coming out to the corner. That's the big issue he's got here, and he's going to try and run the outside parabola. He's going to get it on the outside parabola. What a move, Bobby Zelensky.
Zelensky. Not at all surprised by that move. Talk about a guy who is hungry for another win here. But coming down the front straightaway right now, look at the gap. Look at that huge gap. That's about 10 truck lengths all the way back up here. Leader right there at the line. It was about 2 seconds back from Vallero to Zelensky there. Zelensky's got to get on the pedal, and he's got to start moving if he wants to catch those top 2.
Yeah, he does, or he can hope for another caution. Potentially, there is enough time then for that other caution to come into play. Look at this. Robson through on King. King's going to have to wait then just a little bit. And now King looking to try and serve everything up in his court now, because he's got Robson in the sides, but Robson has Cockrell in his side. So now they're all trying to work with each other and against each other at the same time. To the inside tries Robson. To the inside he gets it, but he goes a little bit deep. And now you can see down inside King was being a bit optimistic.
Yeah, he did that again. He tried to go through the grass, but there's just no traction for these trucks out there. It's not really in the cards for those trucks. They're not very happy when you take them either on the zebras or even off into the grass here. King, though, he got a great run out of Siberia through 7, through Hayshed now, and he's going to try and make a move, maybe up into Lukey here. Maybe to the inside. No, he's going to get it blocked, and King, you can see him respond there. The truck got a little wiggly there, and that battle for the moment is kind of cooled down, but it got a battle between Thompson, Real, and there's a huge cluster of about 4 trucks all together here.
Cockrell loses 2 positions, but behind Real, they are all struggling here. Thompson, Real, Gruber, Kapal there back into the fight, up into P number 7 here. And remember, Kapal was struggling at the start of this race. He's now made some great moves up through the field. Maybe a contender for the Hard Charger Award. Make sure you tweet out Socks Out Racing for that one. Kapal will look down to the inside. He backs out of it there, not confident on George Gruber. And that was one that he had to wait and be very patient with. Kapal running into a few blocks then, shall we say, in terms of the road racing.
I don't think the dive in turn 1 is really going to work here, because you have that turn 2 and it's a long enough sweeper where I don't think you're going to be able to do a whole lot. But here comes Kapal. Looks like Torque Freak. That driver got on the grass a little bit. Gruber's going to fall back. So easy job done for Kapal. That's probably going to be one of the easiest passes he made all day.
It is the easiest pass he's made all day from what I've seen, and that's going to be helpful. Kamets, though, back into the fight, trying to get around James King here. Needs to make a move very, very early in terms of where he needs to place the machine. You can see rounding the left-hander of Siberia, get on the power, and in front of them, you know, Robson didn't have the best of corners, so Robson now trying to make the move on James King. Well, King making the move on Robson, but now Kamets wants both of them and gets all over the curb through that section. Don't want to do that too often, and you can see that getting incredibly deep down in onto the brakes, trying to scare the drivers in front.
Wow, talk about aggressive psych out move right there. King going to try it again here. He's so close. Gamert's right there. A little bit of a shunt there to Robson from James King, the 23. Let him know, hey, I'm here. I would like to get by, please. Another one. 44 got all sorts out of shape, and now King running through the final turn here. What a run. He's going to get another shunt. That's 3 now, the 44. Off circuit and 3 wide.
Three wide down the straight, and Kamet's now trying to hold it all down the middle. He'll thread the needle, but I'm not sure he'll get King then down onto the brakes. One will have to go, two have to go. There's going to be a shot, but they hold it together somehow. And how have they all held themselves together? Robson, I believe that is, sending the shot. Kamet's stuck on the outside, and Kamet's now still trying to get around the King.
Well, I think the ref went down right here because this has gotten very dirty tactics. All of a sudden, Robson now going to jump to the inside. A little nudge to the 66. They're losing their minds out there, but this is the kind of racing we can expect from the trucks. They can take and dish out some punishment, and that is exactly what we are seeing right now.
Rubbing's racing, boys, and well, Robson gave it as well as he took it, shall we say, then against Sven Kametz. And again, looking at the back of Kametz, Kametz gets a big wiggle coming off of Siberia, and a huge wiggle coming out of Siberia as he gets a tyre, a right rear on the grass, shall we say. He holds on to it, but King can now run away side by side ahead, though. Kapal trying everything on Real and had another big wiggle down on the brakes.
Yeah, absolutely, and Kapal gonna try and get back up into that battle there. We'll have to see if he's going to get it through 11. I don't think he's going to have enough speed here as they head towards 12 and the Gardner Straight. Kapal's going to try everything he can. We're going to have to see how the run turns out for Real. I think Real's going to be good, but you know what? Let's flash forward because knock, knock, Zelensky's coming.
Zelensky was 7/10 quicker than Borja Vieira the last time by, and half a second quicker than Victor Lobato last time by. If Zelensky's a man on a mission, this is the man on the mission you have to talk about. Of course, now he's in the top three. He's ineligible for the hard charger, and a big, big wiggle from Borja Vieira as well. And now this is going to be the key here in terms of the race, because Kapal under a lot of pressure then from the driver of what is Sergio Real.
Fastest lap that time was, no surprise, Zelensky, and he had it by almost 5/10 easily. Zelensky is on fire right now as they head into Siberia again. He's going to look to the inside, put it on the zebras there a little bit. He's going to nudge him out of the way. The 39's going to come around. It all went wrong.
It all did go wrong, but they can keep it going. Caution's out, though. That's the saving grace, because Borja Vieira, he holds on to second place technically when the caution came out. If he can get himself up to speed, he's back there. Zelensky's now in P2, but that's a push to pass, and now the stewards might have a look again.
Yeah, that might have been going a little too far. You can nudge the guy out of the way, but if you're going to spin him, that might be crossing the line ever so slightly. The other thing was, I don't think Zelensky really needed to do that. We knew how fast of a truck he had. I think he just got impatient.
You know, the issue that here in this incident is he actually tries to pull out of the move there. He gets alongside, he causes the touch, but he backs out of it. That's the crucial factor that the stewards need to look at. Bobby Zelensky backs out of the move then and tries to make sure that the driver ahead in the form of Borja Vieira has an opportunity to save the vehicle, and in the end he doesn't, and they both go around. I think Zelensky didn't really want to give the big nudge. I don't think he wants to make it the way he did, but in my opinion there, Cisco, Zelensky's trying everything to make sure the car ahead doesn't spin.
Yeah, absolutely. Report from Sergio Real. That damage we saw on that JIM truck is apparently very bad, and that truck is slow, so that's kind of why that JIM driver has fallen off the rest of the pack here. But, this is...
Well, Victor Vieira here has pulled... Well, yeah, Borja Vieira even, sorry, as I get my names there a little bit mixed up. He's down on pit road then, so maybe there was damage on the right rear that has affected his vehicle.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's gone. That's engine gone right there, Jake. We're hearing reports. Wow, that's huge.
That's baffling, especially when
I don't know how that's possible.
He's over-revved the vehicle down the straight when he was in a situation where, you know, he's under caution. I mean, there should be no need for that, and Borja Vieira single-handedly has decided, nope, day's done, not happy with that. We'll go back to the river next time by.
I mean, you know, frustration. We've seen a bit of a red mist descend on this race. That really all it was? Was that just frustration getting taken out on the engine of that truck?
Maybe. It might have been a mistake, maybe a lapse of concentration, maybe it is anger. We have no idea of knowing what he is thinking in terms of the racing. So, you know, that's the issue that we've got here going on in terms of the racing. But for now, you know, when you look at the racing that has gone on and how much time there is actually left, it's only 3 laps when they get themselves back going again. There's not long at all for Zelensky to take the victory.
No, there absolutely isn't, but we're going to take one more break. We're going to step aside just for a moment, pay some bills. We'll be right back here to cover the last chunk of this race here at Phillip Island. You're watching the iAnalyze Racing V8 Super Truck Championship right here on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. Back in a moment.
Fuel usage.
Averaging 0.10 gallons per lap.
Pit stop, add 5 gallons. Change right side only.
Hitbox in 10, 9, 8, 1. Bingo. 10-4, adding 5 gallons. Changing right side tires.
Welcome back to the iAnalyzeRacing.com V8 Super Truck Championship. Cisco Scarmuza, Jake Sperry, and Paul Smith along with you for the ride here. And Jake, we're running out of time here. Lobato doesn't have left to go here to defend. It's going to be 3 laps at the line, a 3-lap dash to the end of this.
A 3-lap dance, shall you say, and if there's a caution, that only goes 2 laps, so it would become a 1-lap sprint then for the checkered flag. That's something that also has to be kept in mind. Zelensky has been making inroads all day long. Last time we checked in terms of lap time comparison was half a second a lap quicker than Lobato. Lobato needs to stop the unstoppable force. He needs to be the immovable object.
He needs to be, but Zelensky has been the unstoppable force, as you mentioned, all day. Talk about a guy, he trucked all the way from the back of the grid here. He's up to second. He has 1 position left to go, but that's going to be the hardest position he's going to try and get all night. But we're waiting to see, will anyone else, do you think, is anyone else going to be a match for those guys, Jake?
Well, the issue that they have here is that, you know, they're all now in against each other. If those two come together, maybe Daniel Thompson, maybe Martin Capel, Real, I think's out of it.
Well, we'll just have to see. The pace car getting set to make that left-hand turn, and now the long wait, the calm before the storm, as you might say. Lobato waits, and he's going to wait until they get onto that front stretch, just a little bit past that bridge. I think I've got it down. It's about that blue sponsor on the wall. It's about when the green flag is coming out. We're going to have to see who is going to come out of Phillip Island with the checkered flag. Green flag back in the air. Lobato on the loud pedal. We're back racing here.
Yeah, you can see Capel just got a horror start. Now they're going to go 3 wide behind, 4 wide behind. No way. No, it stays 3 wide as they come down in. And that nearly was the end of the race just there. So that was a very scary moment. They had a bit of common sense, but they all hold it together for now.
That would not have worked. 4 wide doesn't work on most ovals, let alone on a road course here. And they were able to hold on to it. But very close drivers between that whole group. You see a bunch of cars. It's going to be Gruber is going to be the head of that. And it looks like he's a little bit slow. Camert's, he's going to try and block him. Camert's hard in the tires.
Oh, that's the last thing he wants. And Gruber goes straight on. They hold it together, but they're all off circuit, so they're going to keep it together. More contact there. And that's Capel who's going to be turned around in the middle of the circuit. Is that going to cause the yellow? Yes, it is. 1-lap shootout.
1-lap shootout, and it all started with Camert's, who basically got a one-way trip off into the tires on the right side there, courtesy, I believe, a little bit of contact. And for Sven Kamertz, he had that pit road penalty, was working his way back up, and, well, Jake, as you like to say, it all ended in tears.
It did all end in tears, and for Sven Kamertz, he was on the inside. Gruber maybe was a little bit in no man's land trying to get away with it, but, you know, he was stuck in a situation where he didn't know where Kamertz was going to go. Both of them end up into a world of trouble, and it was the second spin with Capel that caused the caution to happen, not the incident with Kamertz, and that's something that you all have to remember.
And we said it might be a 1-lap shootout, but if they're going to catch the pace car here, the lights would have had to go out this time. I believe, actually, Victor Lobato, I think he just stole one away from everyone else right there.
And that is good game. So for Victor Lobato, you know, staying at the front all of that race, Zelensky, for all that he can do, that's it. Sometimes you can't argue with a caution flag. The table doesn't lie. The flags don't lie either.
And I think we saw the caution come out very late there. I think the officials wanted to wait until the last possible second to throw that. They wanted that to end under green. But because we had that 64 get turned around, that was kind of the second half of that incident we saw. That was ultimately what brought out the yellow. But sadly, we're kind of done here. That's, you know, at this point it's just time to pace now. So for these guys, as long as they don't blow up the motor under caution, which, by the way, yes, we have seen that already, as long as no one else does it, we should be good.
We should be good here. And, you know, it has been an exciting race. We have been seeing drivers push their way through the field. But sometimes, you know, you have to meet it with a bit of realism here. I actually commend what the stewards had done there. They looked for the last possible moment where a car wasn't turned around facing the wrong way on circuit. If the car's facing the wrong way off circuit, that's fine. If the car's facing the wrong way on circuit, you kind of have to throw a caution there because you're putting other drivers' races in jeopardy. And, you know, at the end, it was a decision they had to do, not one that anyone wanted to do, because we all want to see Lobato versus Zelensky. I do want to also point out that Victor Lobato was actually pulling away in that last section there compared to Bobby Zelensky. I'm not sure Zelensky had enough to really pull that one back into play.
Well, I don't think we really could have made any judgments until they got kind of through halfway the circuit before kind of all the start got sorted out and everything, and the drivers had a chance to go out on their own merits, not just on the start, because I think on the start, Lobato, because he's going on the green flag, is just going to have a little bit more of an advantage. But sadly, for these guys, it's, well, for Bobby Zelensky, close, but he's not going to get that second win on the season. Instead, he's going to get it stolen by Lobato there.
Yeah, he is here. And for Bobby Zelensky, you know, he won't be disappointed by this result. I mean, he's come from the back of the field, from a pit stop, up to second at Phillip Island. With the help of cautions, yes, but, you know, that's part of the racing action. Bobby Zelensky, you have to say, a pick for driver of the day. Not for hard charger of the day, but Cisco, we have a bit of time. Who do you think's the hard charger of the day for you?
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. You know what? I gotta go. If we could give it to a group, I would say that battle that we saw with King, where they were just beating the doors off the trucks, that was incredible. They all held on to it. Yeah, it was physical, but it wasn't really that dirty, to be honest. So Paul Smith, he says Real. I'm gonna go with King.
I'm going to go with Kamet because it was part of the same group, but Kamet was the driver who was really forcing it and really enforcing the drivers and really beating and banging around of it. And you also have to remember, they were 3 wide at one stage into turn number 1. They were giving it as much as they were taking it, and there was some great car control between the lots of them.
Yeah, absolutely, and they were able to dish it out, but also take it, and not really, the incident didn't end up coming from there. We thought it might have, but nope, that was just some hard racing. So if we ever get a chance to highlight a part of this, go back and watch that battle because that was fantastic. But now, Victor Lobato, he doesn't have to worry about doing victory laps after the race because that's what he's doing right now.
Oh, I found another candidate, Cisco. Remember S-House and the way that he was sliding around trying to save it?
Yeah. But sadly, S-House, though, you know, that ended in tears for him. You know, they had to take that truck on the rollback. They didn't have the backup truck, so if we could give S-House the Tanner Faust Formula Drift Award, I'd give him that one because that was incredible. Also, if we can, I'm going to appeal to Paul here. Paul, if we can get a picture of the truck going on 2 tires going through the one corner and use that as the thumbnail from now on, I would be happy. If we can make that happen, because if we could go back, oh my gosh, that was incredible. Go back and go see that, because I think it was 2 trucks at one point were on their side about ready to roll over, and both drivers were able to feather the throttle and hold on to it. But, I mean, you know, we talk about the caliber of drivers, Bobby Zelensky, the guys from JIM, the guys from Team Bushfink, a lot of really good drivers here. But at the top of the chain today, Victor Lobato, he's going to get the victory through the final turn right here. He's weaving back and forth, Jake, because he just won himself his 2nd victory on the season.
He did, and well, he's got to be incredibly pleased there against long-term rival now, we can say, in Bobby Zelensky here. It will be these two towards the championship finale. You have to really think about that, but for Lobato, You know, he won when the ball was in his court. When the ball is in Zelensky's court, that's going to be a different ball game to look at here. But for Victor Lobato, it's advantage one. It might be advantage again with Zelensky's incident next time by.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But Victor Lobato, he's going to get the victory here. Let's run you through your full race results here from Phillip Island. Victor Lobato, he's able to get the victory. Bobby Zelensky is going to come home second. Third is going to go to Daniel Thompson. Fourth is going to go to Sergio Real. Jake Robson will round out your top five. James King finishes sixth. Seventh's going to go to Clifton Cockrell. Eighth is going to go to Justin Krutzoff. Ninth is going to go to George Gruber. And 10th will go to John Medeiros.
Graham Rainiers will finish home in 11th position overall. Josh Mertz there up in 12th. Martin Kapal will get involved in the final lap incident. Will finish P13. Sven Kamets will finish P14, and well, it's nice to see that the top 14 was split by just 6.8 seconds across the line, although very artificially. The cars that failed to finish, Joshan Ibiza, Carl Janssen, Borja Vieiro, David Barclough, and Mika Eshouse.
Well, we're going to take a moment. We're going to step aside for a moment here. We'll catch up with your top finishers after this short break. You're watching the iAnalyze Racing V8 Super Truck Championship on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Be back in a moment.
Fuel usage.
Averaging 0.10 gallons per lap.
Pit stop, add 5 gallons. Change right side only.
Hitbox in 10, 9, 8, 1. Bingo. 10-4, adding 5 gallons. Changing right side tires.
We're back here at Phillip Island Circuit here for the iAnalyzeRacing.com V8 Super Truck Series post-race show here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. Cisco Scaramuza and Jake Sperry, Paul Smith down the production truck. And Jake, well, we've finally been able to catch our breath here and start to digest this whole race. Fantastic racing action from Phillip Island.
Well, it's nice to see that the heart attack medicine is now starting to take its effect here, Cisco, after that one. That was crazy. We had so many battles here and there, side by side, 4 wide, 3 wide, pushing and shoving. It was class. You could argue it is now vintage, you could say, vintage V8 Super Truck here, because that was amazing in terms of the precedence that it sets, in terms of the racing action that they've got. That was fantastic.
Well, we're going to catch up with some of the drivers right here. So while we're waiting to talk to our winner right here, Jake, I believe you've caught up with Martin Kapal. We're going to go to him first, and I believe you caught up with him on pit road.
Yeah, I have. I've got Martin Kapal with me in the 64 machine. Martin, an up and down day for you. You finished down in P13. You get involved in the final incident, I do believe, as well. But, you know, you were up there, you were down there, you were left there, you were right there. How was your up and down day?
Oh, hello guys. Yeah, it was a roller coaster race for me. Luckily I wasn't involved in the first incident in the first caution, so happy for that. And then I was going up through the field, and yeah, and then the last caution that was unlucky. I got sandwiched by two cars and spun around, and nothing I could do there. Yep.
Nothing you could do there, but, you know, you were still putting in a very strong effort, and this circuit has been incredibly difficult in terms of how you deal with the circuit. It's very narrow, it's very difficult, and in pack racing at the very beginning, you know, was it just a case of trying to find your own piece of real estate?
Oh yeah, sure. I was trying to just keep my pace and find a space for with other people, and try not to do some mistakes. I mean, obviously the first restart, the start of the race actually, I was just that was stupid of me, because I panicked a little bit and went off in turn one because it was kind of blind. I couldn't see where to brake, and I lost it all there, and I had to catch up to the field.
Certainly did, but at the end of the day, it's maybe not the result that you would have liked. But of course, the next round in May will be at the circuit of Silverstone. Of course, Silverstone, a very historic circuit, maybe not necessarily built for camping trucks, with it being a very mixed circuit in terms of corner profile and in terms of top speed. You know, how difficult is it to set up for a circuit like Silverstone?
Yeah, I think it will be tough. It will be difficult to find a pace there, and to set the car properly. It's not, as you said, it's not a usual track to race with the NASCAR trucks, so it will be interesting to see.
Certainly will then, and that would be Martin Kapal then finishing home in position number 14 when all is said and done. Cisco, how's your Spanish?
Well, the good thing is we're going to have a little bit of help for this, but we've caught up with Los Hermanos Lobato. Victor, congratulations on the win. Felicitaciones. And first off, talk us through the race. How was it out there?
Muchas gracias por todo. Thank you for the race. And bueno, Kiko, di que voy a hablar en español.
Okay, so he's going to speak in Spanish and I'm going to translate. Everything okay?
Yep.
Ha sido una carrera, bueno, que ha resultado más o menos sencilla porque me he colocado en la pole y he sido marcar mi ritmo.
Okay, so the race was pretty easy because he could made his rhythm, his own pace, and from the pole position, so that was not a problem at all.
Felicitar a Jim, sobre todo a Sergio y a Borja por el set.
And congratulations for the team, because the Sergio Real and Borja Valero, because the setup was amazing.
Y que tenía un poquito de miedo por las últimas vueltas con Zelensky, que iba más rápido que yo, pero la bandera amarilla me salvó.
And he was a little bit afraid because Zelensky was going pretty fast in the last laps, and he was afraid he couldn't manage that position.
Yeah, it was absolutely, we were watching the battle unfold on that. But Victor, is there anyone else you want to say thank you to at all?
Bye.
¿Alguien quiere decírselo?
Bueno, sí, Yellow Jim, y agradecer a Javi por todo.
Also, he wants to thank the manager of the team, Javi Guerra. So, and that's all.
All right, well, Los Hermanos Lobato, thank you guys for helping out. Felicitaciones y adios.
Gracias, bye, goodbye.
All right, so I believe Jake Sperry, we're going to have you catch up with the guy who finished second, Bobby Zelensky.
Well, a roller coaster ride then for Mr. Zelensky, the man on a rich vein of form, but in the end the caution stops any further chances of victory. Bobby, second place, how was it for you?
It's kind of mixed. It's great to come finish second after starting on pit road from penalty from last week. The cautions helped us there. We got up to like 8th and got a caution, so that was cool. And What really sucked is the second to last yellow where I spun out the 39. He just tried parking it on exit and just not going to block for his teammate, I guess, and I, spun him. He's like about 10 miles an hour slower on exit, so I really couldn't do anything. I was like 2 truck lengths from him entering the turn. I was just taking the turn like normal, wasn't even trying to pass, and he just parked the exit. I don't know if it was a mistake on his part, but I didn't mean to do it at all. He just stopped on exit, so that caused a yellow, and that obviously wasn't good for our chances. But to be fair, we shouldn't even had a chance to win this starting on pit road. So I don't. We'll see how it all shakes out with penalties after this. Hopefully, don't get penalized, but it's what it is.
The stewards will certainly be taking a look over the incident, but of course, you find yourself in a situation, you're fighting in the championship, you got a victory at Interlagos, you were there or thereabouts, but with a penalty after Texas, and here at Phillip Island, more of the same in terms of getting yourself involved in one small incident, but fighting your way through the field from the back is a very difficult challenge to be had, especially in the early goings where you saw vehicle after vehicle trying to make something happen. You got on the right side of Lady Luck, shall we say, in a couple of instances here today.
Yeah, we had to be really careful coming up, but I was trying to be as aggressive as I could without, being over aggressive, and I was making some passes I didn't even mean to do just because of just how I take the track and my braking line, and I seemed to be able to get through the center of the turns a lot better, so I almost caused a few incidents, but it's just that speed difference that it's just kind of hard to expect, because one corner, the guy in front of you be just as fast or faster, and the next corner he's like way slower, and you just don't want to like ruin his race by hitting him, and it's just hectic trying to come from last, but it was a lot of fun for the first 80% of the race, and I hate that I got in that incident with Valero there. I didn't want it to happen, but in my opinion, there's just not really anything I can do. But it was a really fun race, and dang, finishing second. I went into this race like because of how the rules are. First 3 races we get 1 drop, and I have that 1 win, and last week I did finish second, so I didn't really have anything to lose today, so I just went and kind of had fun, and we almost were able to pull off a win. I don't know if I would have been able to pass Victor or not, but I wish I would have had a shot there at the end. This is just a really fun league, though. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Certainly is, and well, you've now become probably the hottest property on the market of oval racing right now with the victory in the NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series, and trying to translate that form over to here. Of course, it's a long wait of about 4 weeks before you head over to Silverstone, and a completely different circuit. Do you feel that this series will really give you an advantage in terms of your abilities in the real world, or not exactly the real world, but in the NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series? I know there's going to be 1 race, potentially 2, where they're heading over to a road ovals and doing road course racing. So do you feel that this series suitably prepares you where other drivers like, say, maybe Ray Alfala and Ryan Loser don't prepare as much?
I'm not really sure. I just really enjoy road racing, honestly, maybe more than oval, just because, it's, to me, it's like, more than just 2 turns, like on oval, sure, you have to, there's all these little things to be fast, but road, it's just like, it's just a lot more fun for me, and I just like racing over here. The trucks are a lot different than a cup car, and, so really, this series, I just I go off of just having fun with it to prepare a little bit. I didn't prepare anything for Q, obviously, for this race yesterday, but I did a few little race runs, and I knew that the truck was pretty good, and I just really enjoy this type of racing, I guess. I don't know if that really answered your question at all, but yeah.
Yeah, no worries at all. Of course, second position, who gets it done for you?
Yeah, shout out everyone at SOR for putting on this racing, and shout out to my teammate Matt Boosley. He wasn't able to make it today. He's busy with college stuff, so hopefully we'll see him next round. Thanks everyone at Slipping Motorsports on the Peak side. You mentioned it. We were able to win on Tuesday. Not the perfect way I'd want to win a race, but we got one, which was just amazing this soon. And then shout out my sponsors over there, United Western Industries and New Age Metal Fishing, Virtual Racing School, of course, and Elwood Designs for painting that, and that's about it, and thanks all you at RaceSpot.
No worries. Bobby Zelensky coming home in second position. Cisco, I believe you found a Daniel Thompson.
Yeah, I'm catching up with Daniel Thompson in the 14, who snuck his way onto the podium here. But Daniel, you were able to stay out of trouble most of the race tonight. Talk us through it. How was it for you out there?
It was a pretty great race. The time put in yesterday for practice really made me feel comfortable, and some of my experience here in the V8 supercar, I was able to translate that into the line, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, we saw an absolutely fantastic race, but you qualified 5th, you finished 3rd here, a net gain here. What really kept you out front today? Because we saw a bunch of kind of accordion battles happen. You know, Zelensky was working his way through the field. What kept you up front all day?
Luckily up front, we were able to space out, get single file, and I was able to get into a rhythm and focus on hitting my marks. And by doing that, I was able to keep, I know for the most part, Sergio behind me and Ibiza behind me. They were on me a pretty good chunk of the race. So being able to focus out front without any distractions there kept me up front.
Well, it kept you out front, kept you out of trouble, and you come home 3rd tonight. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who gets it done for you in the 14?
Well, Austell and Punta Clara Kitchen, they really they helped me out. They've done a lot in the past, and Crudoff Designs for everything that he's done for me. So it's really a group effort for everybody involved.
There you have it. There's Daniel Thompson. He finished 3rd here tonight. Daniel, congrats, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
All right. So, Jake, well, we're going to run it through again. I believe we all made our picks, but we'll just restate what our picks are for the hard charger. I'm going, of course, with, I think I'm switching, actually, mine. I think I'm going to go with Real.
You're going with Real. Well, my hard charger pick, of course, is going to be Sven Kamets for the effort that he's done. And I believe Paul also had a pick as well. And he said Real as well, so it's 2-1. So Real from us in the commentary booth will take it.
Well, there you have it. That's our pick for the hard charger award, but that takes care of everything at Phillip Island. We saw everything today, Jake. We saw trucks going sideways. We saw a new thumbnail. We saw Bobby Zelensky driving through the entire field. We saw beating and banging. We saw some hard racing. Everything we come to expect from this series.
But crucially, everyone had fun. And that's something that has to be remembered here. Everyone enjoyed it. The fans enjoyed it. The drivers enjoyed it. Some will be angry, some will be cross. But there was some fantastic battling throughout. And what more can you expect from V8 SuperTrucks?
And we'll see you next time for round number 4 from Silverstone. But that'll do it for us here on RaceSpotTV. To stay up to date with us, you can visit us online at RaceSpot.tv. You can check us out at Facebook at Facebook.com/RaceSpotTV, at RaceSpotTV on Twitter. And of course, for more information on this league, go to www.soxoutracing.com. And of course, we want to thank everyone behind the scenes at Sox Out Racing, Steve Burbage, Nash Hendry, and Kristen Challoner, who make it happen behind the scenes. But for myself, at Vert627, or Cisco Scaramuza, at Jake_Sperry, that's Jake Sperry, and of course, at Smilerbull, that's Paul Smith. And for all of us here at RaceSpotTV, this has been the iAnalyze V8 SuperTruck Series. We'll see you in May at Silverstone, but until then, keep it safe out there, and thanks for watching.
Fuel usage.
Averaging 0.10 gallons per lap.
Pit stop, add 5 gallons. Change right side only.
Hitbox in 10, 9, 8, 1. Bingo. 10-4, adding 5 gallons. Changing right side tires.